You're now watching Cần Thơ News of Cần Thơ Television. Here are the headlines. Cần Thơ leader thanked Milad Korea for its humanitarian work and discussed continued support for disadvantaged children. Vietnam issued its first official food safety control process for exported fresh durian, regulating the entire production and export chain. Top news today. On the afternoon of August 4, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Ngọc Điệp, Vice Chairwoman of Cần Thơ City People's Committee, met with a delegation from Milad Korea, led by Chairman Lee Jong-jae. During the meeting, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Ngọc Điệp thanked Milad Korea and its chairman, Mr. Lee Jong-jae, for their significant humanitarian work, particularly the Heart for Children program. She expressed hope for continued support for disadvantaged communities and pledged that Cần Thơ City would create favorable conditions and cooperate closely on future projects. In response, Mr. Lee Jong-jae shared that Milad has performed over 350 surgeries for children in Vietnam over the past 23 years, as part of their efforts in 25 countries. He reiterated the organization's commitment to helping children in Cần Thơ and expressed a strong desire to continue working with the city to support vulnerable groups, especially after the upcoming administrative merger. The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued guidance stating that after administrative unit rearrangement, the number of caterees, civil servants, and public employees must not exceed the pre-rearrangement total at the provincial level. Public service units at the commune level will undergo a restructuring process, with current and former district staff being retained and reassigned to local roles. Units related to education and health will remain stable unless changes are deemed essential. However, services in agriculture, environment, science, and technology will be streamlined and managed at the provincial level. For other functions, such as project management, land development, and market or bus station management, local authorities will have the flexibility to establish public service units at either the provincial or commune level, depending on local conditions and the unit's ability to be financially self-functioned. In 7 months, state budget revenue reached nearly 80% of its annual estimate, marking an increase of over 27% compared to the same period in 2024. The Ministry of Finance is on track to meet its target of a 20% revenue increase this year, thanks to a series of coordinated measures. In July 2025, Vietnam's state budget revenue is estimated to be 236.9 trillion Vietnamese dong, which is more than 106% of the monthly average from the first half of the year. This total was made up of 202.8 trillion from domestic sources, or nearly 105% of the monthly average, 3.8 trillion from crude oil, or over 92%, and 30.1 trillion from import-export activities, or nearly 106%. For the first 7 months of the year, total budget revenue reached 1,572.3 trillion, which represents nearly 80% of the annual estimate and an increase of over 27% compared to the same period in 2024. A survey of around 1,000 commune-level cultural and social civil servants found nearly 700 have educational backgrounds or pedagogy degree, while the rest lack experience in this sector. Some localities have reported that as few as 20–30% of their commune-level education officials have the necessary qualifications or experience. To address this, the Department of Teachers and Education Managers has proposed both short-term and long-term solutions. For immediate support, the department suggests allowing commune-level people's committees to temporarily assign experienced school staff to cultural and social departments. For a more lasting solution, the ministry recommends piloting new management models, such as creating inter-commune school clusters. These clusters would cover 3 to 5 communes and be managed by a specialized team of 5 to 6 education experts from the Department of Education and Training, ensuring professional oversight and support.
Out of roughly 1.16 million candidates who took the 2025 high school graduation exam, almost 850,000 have registered their admission applications on the system as of 5 p.m. on July 28. These candidates have submitted more than 7.6 million admission preferences.
According to the Ministry of Education and Training, over 7.6 million admission preferences were registered for the 2025 high school graduation exam. This number represents more than 73% of all candidates, with each student submitting an average of 8.96 preferences. This year saw an increase of 115,892 applicants compared to 2024, a rise primarily attributed to more students applying to vocational colleges. The ministry also noted that many candidates registered close to the deadline, and the system is still processing the final submission. To finalize their applications, candidates must pay the admission fee online. The payment period is from July 29 until 5 p.m. on August 5th, and the fee is calculated based on the number of registered preferences.
In 7 months, Vietnam trade balance for agricultural, forestry and fishery products reached a surplus of nearly $12 billion, an increase of nearly 16% year-on-year. The US remained the largest export market, accounting for 21% of the total market share.
In the first 7 months of 2025, Vietnam's agricultural, forestry and fishery exports reached nearly $40 billion, an increase of almost 15% year-on-year. July alone saw exports exceed $6 billion, marking a 13% increase compared to July 2024. This growth was driven by a strong performance across various sectors. Agricultural products at over $21 billion, up 17%, livestock products at $339 million, up 22%, aquatic products at over $6 billion, up 14%, and forestry products at over $10 billion, up 9%. Additionally, production inputs and sold export saw significant surges, with increases of 30% and more than 100% respectively.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Environment has officially issued Decision number 3015, which outlines the food safety control process for exported fresh durian. This marks the first time a Vietnamese fruit has a dedicated official quality control process.
The newly implemented food safety control process for fresh durian is comprehensive, covering the entire production chain from cultivation and harvesting to packaging and export. The process strictly regulates the registration, appraisal, and certification of food safety control for all export shipments. This regulation applies to every individual and organization in the export chain, including traders who are the owner of the shipment, even if they are not directly involved in processing or packaging the fruit. Authorities are responsible for overseeing food safety control conditions at all facilities and conducting the necessary appraisal and certification. Designated testing facilities will also perform analysis to support the certification process and ensure compliance for export.
Starting August 4, traffic on Dai Ngai 2 Bridge is temporarily suspended for construction safety, following a brief opening for light vehicles.
In collaboration with the Cần Thơ Department of Construction and local leaders, the investor is working to secure the Dai Ngai 2 Bridge construction site and control traffic flow. The goal is to reopen the bridge to small cars and motorbikes before September 2nd, as requested by the Thành commune. This decision comes after a temporary 3-day period starting on August 1st, where light vehicles, motorbikes, and rudimentary vehicles were allowed on the bridge. This was an attempt to ease local transportation and support agricultural activities. However, the trial period led to new safety concerns and traffic complications, necessitating a re-evaluation and the implementation of stricter control measures.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.